In small-town Nebraska, a quiet craftsman let his blades do the talking. Hammer through a bolt, then shave paper. Reporters watched. Crowds leaned in, but when they asked how, he smiled and kept the tempering to himself. We rewind to that era and step forward through Damascus law, Japanese sword secrecy, and the modern lab. The thread is the same: toughness against blows, sharpness in the cut, and a wall around the know-how watch, as we trace the story from shop floor theatre to measurable steel, and what survives under the microscope. Have you ever seen a blade smash a bolt and still slice paper, then refuse to tell you why? A small shop. Low hum. A crowd forms when the hammer comes down. The steel meets a mild bar with a flat, heavy blow. The edge lives. Then the same blade skates through a sheet with a clean hiss. 2 steps, no speech, just a nod and a wipe on a sleeve. The craftsman runs the show, but not the script. When the questions hit the hard part, temper, cycles, what bath, what draw, he offers a smile and a change of subject. The floor shows sparks and a neat finish. The method rides home in his pocket. Think of a lockbox that takes 2 keys. One stamped tough, one stamped sharp. Most knives carry one and bluff the other. This piece clicks both in the same minute. That is the riddle that keeps the room still. Research on the act frames the build as stock removal with a distinct heat path, not the usual off-the-shelf temper, not a guess. The same work notes a mild steel bar cut as part of the proof, not a gentle slash at string or rope. A flat trial that wants both spine and edge to agree for 1 hard second. This machine of a blade plays spring on the hit. It flexes and comes back without a sulk. Then it flips, rolls, and draws a whisper line in paper like a fresh razor 2 acts. 1 body, no clue given. In most modern kitchens, a hard push on a board or a slip into cut bone chips a fine tip, rolls a thin edge, or dulls the bite. Makers tweak, alloy, and grind, but those knobs alone do not explain a bolt test that leaves the edge proud enough to shave a sheet after the geometry helps. The steel mix helps. The show suggests there is more. So we ask what lives inside the quiet. Is it a lean alloy tuned for a swift quench? A quench medium that cools fast but not too fast? Single or triple temper? A snap temp before the full draw? Or is the trick smaller, sequence, timing, the color you chase under dim light? The legend hangs on a guarded heat map, not the sparks. The theater hides the steps, not the result. Time to trace where this silence comes from. Older forges, older codes. Why do the sharpest stories cross borders but the methods stay home? The trail runs from a quiet Midwestern bench to Damascus law and on to sword schools in Japan. The same rhythm shows up again. Public feats, private steps. People see the cut, they don't see the clock. Tales sell miracle steel. Labs ask for numbers. That gap fuels hype. Oral lines carry nuance that a first pass with a scope can miss. The heat, the hand, the pause between heats. These live in muscle and habit. You can write the alloy. You can't bottle the eye for the right straw yellow flash in low light. Think of a recipe that lists flour, salt, water, yeast, but leaves out bake time. You can mix the same dough and still miss the crust. Heat treatment is that oven timing. Quench too quick and you lock in strain. Draw too long and you blunt the bite. The craft sits in when to pull, not just what to pour. Historic notes on Damascus talk about blades that could make bold cuts for a crowd. The draw was the feat, not the footnotes. In Japan, quench and temper paths stay close to the chest for generations. Families kept steps oral. Students learned by standing near the fire, not by reading a sheet. The show traveled far. The sequence did not. Guilds act like routers. They pass work and keep packets of knowledge gated. You see the output flow. Only insiders see how the signal is shaped. That limit protects the edge and the shop. It also breeds legend. Bain points to tacit knowledge, skills that sit in touch, color, rhythm, not in neat lines of text. You can film a hand-brushing scale. You can't write the feel of a soft clink that means the spine is just right. That is why two people with the same gear end up with different steel. With secrecy prized, myths swell. Yet some traits repeat across shops and borders. Makers trade hardness for toughness, then steal a bit back with temper. They tune carbides for wear. They chase a grain that won't crack when hit, but still bites on the draw. So that quiet from the Nebraska bench is not a glitch. It is the pattern. Guarded timing, guarded temperatures, guarded transitions. The cut you can watch, the steps you can't. Now we bring the legend to the bench the lab trusts. This is how microscopes listen when a knife won't talk. Can a secret temper survive a lab light and still look special? This is how a careful study steps in. Two blades go under the scope. Careful notes. Cautious claims. No fanfare, just steps you can repeat. The work logs that these blades were ground from stock, then treated. The edge had a job to do, and the heat path was the lever. Sensational demos meet measured microstructures. The lab turns the stunt into numbers and maps. Do grains, carbides, and hardness lines match the show? The test that stands out is blunt and clean. A mild steel bar takes a hammer strike from one blade without chipping the edge. A common kitchen knife tries the same strike and chips. Same stage. Different outcomes. A cross-section reads like a city map. Grain size sets the block layout. Carbides sit like busy factories. Residual stress moves like traffic at rush hour. You don't see a story. You read a skyline. If the blocks are too large, cracks find straight streets. If factories clump at the edge, the cut holds longer but can snap on shock traffic jams, and the whole district slows. Even when steels look similar, the order of steps can redraw the map. Quench speed writes the first roads. A brief soak logs or freeze carbon temper cycles add and erase alleys. A snap temper sets the streetlights. Recovery steps ease traffic so the city flows. Change the timing and the skyline shifts, even if the address stays the same. Microstructural notes hint at tempered martensite when toughness is the goal. That phase takes a hit and recovers. Carbides shape wear and edge life. Finer, well-spaced factories keep the bite while avoiding brittle clumps. Hardness profiles that taper from edge to spine help the knife flex without giving up the cut. None of this is wild. All of it is about sequence. Time to run a modern replication. Known steels, controlled kilns, timed quenches, standard tests. You match the geometry, then chase microstructure. Some runs hit good toughness. Some hold a wicked bite. A few narrow windows do both, just not on command. Partial wins count, but the bolt and paper trick stays hard to promise without the tacit cues. The hand that knows the right hue, the right pause, the right air. The modern kitchen now steps in with its own ask. Do you want that stunt on a board built for food and speed? Why do your chef knives tap out where a show knife shines? The job in a kitchen is narrow and steady. Fine slices. Many strokes. Wipe, wash, dry salt, acid, steam. A board under every cut. Not a steel bar in sight. The load is small but non-stop, and the edge must keep its line day after day. That stunt loves shock and swagger, but daily prep likes quiet math. Edge shape, steel pick, and temper sit in balance. You want an edge that holds, but you also want it to live through board hits and rakes through onion skin. So makers set toughness high enough to stop chips, then take hardness far enough to hold bite. The mix is the point. Think race car versus grocery run. On track, you tune for speed and impact. It wins, then cries on potholes. A show blade loves a hard hit and laughs, but on tomatoes and herbs it may feel thick, stick, and stall. Comfort in the hand and glide in the cut matter more than a single blow. Thin geometry is the slicer's friend. Less wedge, less drag. It floats through soft food and tight stacks. But thin hates blunt force. It can roll or chip on a bad board. Thick spines shrug shock, pry and split. Yet they plow. You feel it on a dense squash. The knife lifts the food, then tears. Most kitchen edges land in a lane. Angles fall near 10 to 20 degrees per side. Lower angles go crisp and quick, but risk damage. Higher angles hold shape, stand up to grit, and ride longer on the board. Hardness targets meet that choice. Enough Rockwell for edge hold, enough give for board taps. Stainless grades step in for wet sinks and fast cleanup. Carbon grades trade care work for bite and keen edges. Grind plays too. Hollow glides, but can be fragile. Flat holds a middle. Convex resists chip and likes push cuts. The crowd loved the stunt, but the blade taught a quieter rule. Toughness and sharpness move. You ride that balance with hands, heat, and timing. The strongest lever is knowledge kept close, not sparks on the floor.